Hi, my name is Mary. Today FM plays the best music in Lambasa. Today FM rocks.
My name is Thomas. I'm here in Nakasi and I like to listen to Today FM because it rocks.
My name is Milenia. Today FM rocks here in Singapour.
My name is Alfriti and Today FM rocks here in Tavua.
My name is Mary Jane. I love listening to Today FM here in Ba. Today FM rocks.
My name is Ilay Tiambal and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks here in Osur.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news tonight, over $2 billion paid in interest, reveals Bainimarama. Freak weather catches people off guard. And 2 dead in Nandi accident.
From the studios of FBC Suba, Amrita Sagar.
Prime Minister Vurenge Bainimarama has for the first time revealed that they have had to pay billions in interest that was accumulated by previous governments. The figure does not make good reading for any country, and Bainimarama says the nation is continuing to suffer for the misdoings of some who continue to deny the fact that Fiji was brought to its knees due to the debt. His no-holds-barred statement is the first time the PM has come out to set the record straight, saying paying off the debt was no easy fix. Ritika Pratap reports.
Prime Minister Vurenge Bainimarama says since 2007, the government has spent more than $2 billion in interest to clean up Sodalpa leader Sitiveni Rambuka's mess, along with the debt of other governments which they inherited. Speaking to former Fijians at the Victorian Multicultural Sports Association business event in Melbourne, Australia last night, Bainimarama said the current head of Sodalpa, who was in charge of Fiji's economy when National Bank of Fiji collapsed, a scandal that created such massive debts that it would take generations to repay. Bainimarama says the government brought prudent financial management to our economy, unfortunately, still paying for the many mistakes of past governments. He says previous governments borrowed irresponsibly and they mismanaged the economy, and if they have been responsible, Fiji would already be debt-free. Bainimarama says the government has set aside 40% of its spending towards capital development for the past 11 years. This has amounted to $7 billion. Bainimarama revealed that for every $1 spent on capital expenditure, only 33 cents is borrowed. He says 26 years prior, of the only $3.5 billion total spent on infrastructure, former governments were borrowing 76 cents in the dollar. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
A continuous heavy downpour this morning resulted in flash flooding around the Suva area. Unexpected flooding along Kanade Road in Valilevu damaged the homes and belongings of 2 families.
Ronald Chand operates Rohan's car wash on Kanade Road. He says he was sleeping in one of his cars when his wife woke him up for help as their house got flooded in just 1 hour.
Myself was sleeping when the water came. My wife and my daughter were sleeping on the bed. When the bed started floating, then these people ran to me, then shouting, the water coming. I said, you people lying. I myself sleep. When I wake up, again she shout, then I wake up.
Chan says all the electrical items and equipments used in his garage were damaged.
We can't save anything. The thing all destroyed. So my car wash, all my car wash stuff, all the thing gone. The water blaster and vacuum cleaner all gone in the flood, and the compressor, you can see the thing lying there, and all my food item, everything, the thing destroyed.
Nemani Lomata, another resident of the area, says the flooding happened in minutes and most of their basic items like food and clothing were damaged.
We've been here since 1999 and this is the first time for us to come across this kind of incident. And since it's the first time, most of our household items are damaged.
Lomata says the flooding happened due to the drainage problems.
During the heavy downpour last night, the drains, the thing got stuck, and the drains in front, we have culverts without tunnel. If we have tunnels, the debris can easily go through it.
Due to this morning's downpour, motorists travelling to Suva had to divert around roads and crossings closed due to flash flooding. Catherine Krishna, FBC News.
2 people died in a motor vehicle accident in Moimalika, Nandi last night. Police spokesperson Anna Naisora says the crash occurred after 10 p.m. Fiji Navy is deeply concerned about the continuation of crimes committed at sea, which include illegal fishing in our exclusive economic zone, so they're stepping up enforcement. This was highlighted during the Navy's submissions to the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Foreign Affairs and Defence in the review of the Agreement on Port State Measures to prevent, deter and eliminate illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing. Akusita Tale reports.
The Fiji Navy has revealed that while they will provide safety at sea, their offshore maritime patrols will be led by fisheries officers to counter illegal fishing, while customs officers will be on the lookout for customs breaches. Further plans are in place to have more regulatory authorities on board.
There are also plans in place to have the Maritime Safety Authority of Fiji to be also part of the group. So if there's a breaches in terms of ship safety, MSF will take the lead role. So we've gone from just having fisheries there initially at the start of the operation. We've included customs and plan to have MSF and possibly the police.
Commander Timothy Natuva says they're also working beyond catching the culprits involved in illegal and unregulated fishing to policing other crimes at sea as well.
We'll need to review when we conduct fisheries patrol. It should always be in the back of the body officer's mind. There are other things to check for. But it must be noted that we can only enforce those laws within 12 nautical miles of territorial waters.
We need a collective legislation in the form of maritime enforcement powers legislation, which addresses fisheries, customs, environment, sea safety, biosecurity, policing and maritime crime at sea.
The Fiji Navy says enforcing the Port State Measures arrangement will refuse port entry or access to port services, including landing and transshipment of fish to foreign flagged vessels known to have engaged in illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
Businesses caught giving false information to consumers who are assisted under the Homes Care Initiative will face a maximum fine of over $200,000. Fijian Competition and Consumer Commission Chief Executive Officer Joel Abraham says they'll ensure businesses caught cheating are taken to task. After being set up last week, the Commission Joint Task Force has already issued notices to 16 traders in the Central and Western Divisions in regard to the Homes Care Initiative. Meanwhile, 12 businesses involved in the Farms Care Initiative have been issued with similar notices. Abraham says both businesses and consumers should be cautious while accessing the Homes Care Initiative.
The penalties that have been put there is quite tough because the issue is serious, and we want to make it clear to the businesses and to the consumers that both of you must exercise caution, must exercise care and responsibility in this entire exercise.
Still to come, LGBTQI Talks top human rights meeting agenda. NFPC staff get over $160,000 in bonus payout. Stay with us.
Bula, nevan go malakai leloma, ngongai nakas untuk makarong ng Bula FM, nambang dua na sere.
Hoya ubasit sai sa Lambasa, ya untuk talita na warong ng Bula FM, nambang dua na sere.
Guya do tumeli, ako na tao no hinga toka, talita kina na warong ng Bula FM, nambang dua na sere.
Wana tunga ng Bula FM, nambang dua na sere naluan.
Nevan go fani na tao no go singa toka, kita untuk talita kana Bula FM, nambang dua na sere.
Bula FM, nambang dua na sere.
150 delegates from the Pacific and international countries currently are attending the 2018 Pacific Human Rights Conference in Nadi, where today the discussions are centered upon the LGBTQI. The main objective is to develop a roadmap to achieve sexual orientation, gender identity and expression, and sex characteristics with the LGBTQI, and have it included in the Pacific by 2030. Felipe Naikaso has more.
Relooking at the discussions in Tonga 3 years ago and following up on it is what these participants will be doing over the next few days.
We engage in serious conversations and discussions in Tonga, and again we are going to have more conversations, in-depth conversations this week. So it's not just the process of getting everyone together to meet each other and have fun. We are also very serious about the issues that we face almost on a daily basis, and more importantly, discussion of ways in which we can address those issues.
And the LGBTQI community continues to be supported in their cause to getting recognized by society.
Regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, or expression, or sex characteristics, human rights are universal, and LGBT people are entitled to the same respect, freedoms, and protections as everyone else.
But we need to take into account inclusivity for everyone to understand and contribute to these talks and this movement.
One of the main aims of the conference is also to connect people and the LGBTQI organized groups across the Pacific region to share ideas, information, strategies and programs to affirm their dignity, equality and security of the communities. Felipe Naikaso, FBC News.
Money provided to the Fiji Broadcasting Corporation by the government was wrongly termed as a grant, but was actually paid to the FBC as a service fee. FBC Chief Executive Officer Riaz Sayed Qayyum clarified the error during the For the Record TV program aired last night. Savara Tambor reports that before the FBC was corporatized, it was a state broadcaster and all of its expenditures were covered by government.
FBC entered into a contract with government to produce public broadcasting services to ensure that all Fijians have access to important information such as education, health and welfare schemes. In return, the government paid FBC a fee in order to produce those programs and provide AM service on radio.
Why would the auditors classify that as a grant and not a fee?
Because the government was classifying that as a grant.
Yeah.
So the government gave it as a grant, and this is something, there was a legacy issue.
Okay.
It wasn't something that was created by this government or the previous government. It had been there right from the start.
Most Fijians don't realize the situation of the FBC before it was corporatized. Despite of its dire condition at that time, the government wanted the national broadcaster to improve its radio services and kickstart a TV station as well.
I had to do it. I was in the job. I mean, I had left my job in New Zealand. I was here. It was my new turn in life. I had to do this. And the only help that government gave us at that time was that it was going to guarantee a loan that we were going to go out into the open market and get. And we managed to get a loan from FDB. No one wanted to touch FBC at that time. None of the commercial banks wanted to touch FBC at the time.
A project of this magnitude had never been attempted before. For less than $11 million, the FBC not only refurbished its studio, created new transmission sites, and started what is now Fiji's most watched TV station from scratch. Sabira Tambua, FBC News.
Meanwhile, it was a joyous day for the Fiji Broadcasting Corporation staff after the company paid out a performance bonus for 2016, totaling more than $160,000. This comes a week after several questions were raised on the performance of the company after it made losses from 2010 to 2015. Anna Ravula reports.
Hard work has paid off for the FBC staff, and it was not only the current ones that received the bonus.
We'll also be giving out a bonus payment to 20 ex-staff who were with FBC during 2016 who are not with us anymore. And we had also budgeted for the fact that we were going to start making profits from 2016, which we have. 2016 profits are just over $4 million.
Sayed Qayyum adds that the company cannot do well without the input and the dedication of all its staff.
We knew we had a lot of work to do. We didn't envisage it was going to be such a huge and mammoth task. But I would personally like to pay tribute to a lot of the people who had started off with us back then, who have been patient.
The mood was one of joy, and staff were quick to point out that this proves critics wrong.
At the moment, I'm filled with joy. Like for the past 30 years that I've been with FBC, sorry for my emotion, this is the first time that we've been witnesses.
Well, the fact that we received our bonus today, that's a different story altogether. It shows good management that's giving bonus to the staff.
I'm so excited, and it's a great achievement for me, and I'm proud to be part of FBC.
The only thing I can say, I'll leave it to the boss to handle that. But for me, I'm happy. I'm getting my bonus.
The CEO says that the next bonuses the company is looking forward to is the individual KPI bonus and the company performance bonus for 2017. Anna Ravulo, FBC News.
A mother and son have been given a new lease of life following life-changing surgeries by a team of US doctors in Taveuni. Eleanor Turangaiviu caught up with them at the Waiavo Hospital.
After years of living in shame and being bullied, this mother and son duo from Laselase in Nandronga can now no longer hide away from public and family gatherings. They have gone through separate life-changing surgeries.
How do you feel after your surgery?
Good. 8-year-old Sikeli Kunangyo was born with a lump on his back, which grew bigger as he grew older. And he was the brunt of bullying in school because of his condition. Last week, the lump was removed by doctors from the US who are conducting free surgeries at the Waiavo Hospital in Taveuni.
People used to see me.
And now?
Now the people will not see me because my pom-pom is gone.
His mum, 40-year-old Varanisesi Kimbo, had a goiter on her neck for about 5 years.
It wasn't a good sight to look at me. I was even camera shy.
On Tuesday, the goiter was removed by the specialist doctors who are from the Lolama Foundation, a California-based non-governmental organization whose mission is to bring surgical and dental surgery to rural parts of Fiji.
After the surgery, I feel happy to be treated here.
Kimbo and her son are amongst the hundreds of patients brought to Taveuni from around the country by Lolama Foundation to receive the free surgeries. This is the 8th year they have been coming to Taveuni, operating on 250 patients annually. Eleanor Turangaiviu, FBC News.
We'll have Jamie later with the latest in sports, but for now, it's Rachel with business.
Thanks, Amrita. Good evening, and coming up in business tonight. FDB records net profit for the 2016 financial year. And in growing Fiji, tourism sector continues with creating employment. Stay with us.
Voila, I am Eleanor. For the best classic hits, I only listen to Gold FM here in Singapore. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Seni Rawa. I love listening to Gold FM here in Nosuri. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Dino. I'm from Outrigger, Coral Coast, Singapore. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Salote. I love listening to Gold FM here in Nosuri. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Bula, my name is Mariva. Gold FM plays the best classics here in Outrigger, Singapore.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Leading business tonight, the Fiji Development Bank recorded a net profit of $7.31 million for the 2016 financial year. The 2016 annual reports before the Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee reveals that the profit is an increase of 18.98% compared to the same period in 2015. Speaking to FBC News, FDB Chief Executive Mark Hoff says the bank's financial performance was exceptional despite intense competition in the market and TC Winston in the third half of the financial year. Hoff says despite all these factors, FDB achieved profits through stringent control cost measures.
We've obtained increased performance in the organisation through a realignment of our operations, and there's been increased financing opportunities in emerging sectors such as infrastructure and renewables.
And it's the start of another week to the money markets, and we have Sharon with the very latest.
A quick look at trading on the South Pacific Stock Exchange last week. 29,459 shares exchanged hands in 161 transactions, totaling $146,714. Looking at the share price movements, Fiji TV shares increased by 7 cents to a price of $2.38. Paradise Beverages shares recorded a 1 cent growth to end the week at $13.01. Rice Company of Fiji shares rose to $4.25, up 12 cents, while Fijian Holding shares noted a 10-cent increase, closing at $5.70. Following the share price movements, the overall market capitalization increased by 0.12%. and concluded the week at a value of $2.23 billion. And that's the wrap from our local stock market. Vinaka.
Thanks, Sharon. Taking a look at today's currency exchange rate set this morning for the Fijian dollar. It was an up and down day of minor changes to our dollar, which was on the rise against the US dollar, the Australian dollar, the euro and the Japanese yen, and showed slight slippage against the other currencies we cover. As for the commodities market, despite predictions oil prices would continue rising, they dropped to $66 per barrel. Gold was also down at 1,298 an ounce, and silver closed at $16.47 an ounce. And in Going Fiji tonight, the tourism industry provides many job opportunities for school leavers and will continue to do so, says the Fiji Hotel and Tourism Association. There are about 14,000 school leavers every year, and most of them are absorbed into various hospitality jobs. Kelly Vadala reports.
The tourism industry contributes the most to the Fijian economy and employs thousands of people, even if many of them may not be fully qualified.
This industry also gives a lot of opportunities for advancement and also for entry-level people coming out of school. We need to absorb as many of these people as we can. And 1 in 3 jobs in Fiji involves tourism, so that's a good start.
Sito says with high competition from other countries, the industry is ensuring that it addresses its employee-to-guest ratio.
Unlike many industries, as they automate, there's less people involved. The tourism industry is just the opposite. We are very people-intensive. People measure, in terms of the employee-to-guest ratio. The more employees to guests is better.
We need to work a lot more with government stakeholders, training institutions, educational institutions, and create the understanding that there is an industry out there that has a huge need for more people to come and work, and we want these people to be from here.
FHDA says tourism has experienced continued growth and deepening diversification to become one of the fastest growing economic sectors in the world. In Fiji, it's our biggest foreign exchange earner and contributes more than 30% to Fiji's GDP. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
And that's it from Business Tonight. Jamie joins you now with the latest in sports.
Thank you, Rachel, and good evening. Up ahead in sports, Suva Rugby aiming for home semi-final. And Fiji Fact down to Final 4. This and more after the break.
Hi, I'm Jyotishma. I'm from Singatoka. I love listening to Mirchi FM. Mirchi FM is hot.
Mirchi FM is #1.
I'm Charlene Robert. Mirchi FM rocks in Lambasa.
I'm Soname Nasori Jackson. Mirchi FM is hot.
My name is Raymond Dutt. I'm in Baba Singh Alliance. Mirchi FM is hot in Lambasa.
I'm Pritika from Jax Nasori. I love listening to Mirchi FM here in Nasori. Mirchi FM is hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
The Fiji Airways Sevens team has settled in well in London ahead of the tournament this weekend. Coach Gareth Baber says the players have had plenty of time to recover and acclimatise to conditions and are now well into tournament preparations. The national side is scheduled to play a warm-up match against England tomorrow.
Tomorrow's a big day, a big work day, so we'll train twice, once in the gym in the morning and then we train in the afternoon with a good volume of running. So hopefully we get that through that. Everybody's in good health. We've travelled well. It's good to be here, ready for the tournament.
The Suva Rugby side now leads the 2018 Skipper Cup points table after its win over Naita Siri on Saturday. With 2 rounds remaining, Suva hopes to maintain its spot at the top and secure a semi-final clash at ANZ Stadium. Meli Tavanga reports.
After 3 wins and 2 losses in the Skipper Cup competition, the Suva side is aiming for a home crowd semi-final by maintaining its momentum.
Got one more game against Rewa next week before we head on to a break. So we'll try and continue build up this momentum until we get home semi-final at the National Stadium.
Captain Israeli Lendo recalls the advice given by former Suva rep and Rugby Sevens legend Waisele Serevi.
our game plan for before the Skipper Cup is to take each game as a final every week. So if you get down, I can recall what Waisale Serevi told us 1 week when we got to training. Don't rest on the good games you played in a week. You got to improve every week.
Naitasiri coach Kolisi Awambu is trying to gel young forwards into the squad, replacing experienced forwards who have joined the Fiji Warriors for the June test.
We need to tighten up that area, knowing that we've got to fill the gaps for the next game. And then hopefully when we have them back in the last round, we should be back into our top form, especially in the forward side.
Meanwhile, Suva is leading with 20 points, followed by Naitasiri and Nandronga with 14 each, and Rewa rounds up top 4 with 10. Melita Vanga, FBC Sports.
Madhuwata failed to get on the scoreboard in their Vodafone Vanua Cup clash against the Kaunrove over the weekend. The Kaunrove proved too strong for the more experienced Madhuwata side, beating them 16 points to nil. Elna Turangeviu reports.
Indiscipline and mistakes caused Madhuwata their clash against a young the Kaunrove side on Saturday. They were held at bay and failed to cross the try line during the 80 minutes of game time.
Really happy about the performance. It's up to par despite the result. We are focusing on our face play and our rucks.
The Kaunrove, on the other hand, continues to impress with their performance game after game. They managed a score, a successful conversion, and 3 penalties to seal the win against Madhuwata.
It's always good to get a win, and to beat Madhuwata, who's a very good side, Skipper Cup side from last year, is a good win. To keep them scoreless is even better, So really pleased with the boys' effort. And, who knows what can happen from here to the end of the tournament.
Both sides copped yellow cards during the match. Madhuwata were flashed 4 and the Kaunrove 2.
That's the main concern that we are having. In the previous game, we had some yellow cards and red cards, so we are working on that.
That's been our problem all season, and it's getting better. It's just this last 10 minutes we start to lose our discipline. It's an area I've got to work on and fix, but hopefully in the next game we'll try and keep no yellow cards.
The Kaunrove plays Stay Level this weekend at Ratunganilau Park in Savusavu, while Madhuwata takes on Northland at Sabrail Park in Lambasa. Eleanor Turangeviu, FBC Sports.
Weightlifting Fiji has asked FASANOC to intervene with impasse between the Federation and its Levuka weightlifters and officials. Federation President Atma Maharaj confirms that Weightlifting Fiji has requested that FASANOC arrange an independent delegation to discuss the matter with the Levuka lifters and officials. However, in a phone interview last night, Levuka Weightlifting Club President Penny Tawai says they will not attend any meetings arranged by FASANOC in regards to the issue. Meanwhile, FASANOC says it will not comment on the issue yet. The semi-finalists for the Vodafone Fiji FAC this weekend have been confirmed. Lambasa will meet Nandi while Lautoka takes on host Rewa. Both matches will be played at Nausori's Ratu Dakambau Park. Meanwhile, Nandi will be without strikers Napoleon Ingasapakatini and Rusiati Matirarenga, as well as midfielder Afraz Ali. All 3 players suspended for 1 match after copping 2 yellow cards over the weekend. Luciana Tangedakembao reports.
The Lambasa side thrashed Rewa 4-0 last night, which sent the Mbambasing Alliance to top its pool with 7 points, and the Northerners aim to continue its momentum.
We had our plans that we'll take each game as it comes along, and we did exactly Raketi, and then we took over Ba, and then today Rewa. And so yes, now we're going back and prepare for the semi-final against Nandi.
Rewa coach Marika Rondo says they will need to iron out its weaknesses as there is no room for mistakes against Lautoka.
We really have to look at the whole moments of the game. We're playing a team that's just really rise up from the Champions League competition. Lautoka is definitely in form at the moment.
Nandi President Javed Ahmad says discipline is the main issue and the side will try and combat it.
Discipline is always an area we want to work on to make sure we don't lose players. I think we might have 1 or 2 players missing in the semi-final because of 2 yellow cards, but we always work hard on our discipline.
Lautoka coach Kamal Swami says they will need to prepare mentally.
We need to refresh their mind because they have been going through a hectic season, and I think their concentration is going down, so we need to just keep bring them back into concentration.
In the first semi-final, Lambasa meets Nandi at 2 p.m. on Saturday, while at 4 p.m. Lautoka faces Rewa. The final is scheduled for 2:30 p.m. on Sunday. Luciana Tangita Kimbau, FBC Sports.
In today's play of the day, Gareth Bale's stunning bicycle kick goal that secured a historic Champions League title for Real Madrid yesterday. With only his fourth touch of the game, Bale showcased his athleticism and technique to send Madrid in front in the 64th minute. That's it from sports tonight. Angie joins you later on with weather, and in the world of the weird and the wonderful segment, a look at Peru's man-made islands. That's coming up.
Narang golesenia, Obama kita nakas, dorong-rong bin nakape on radio Fijuan, nandong ibit.
Ayaw benyana, dito barong na radio Fijuan, nandong ibisi, hingatoka.
Guado ilaisa hingatoka, rong-rong bin na heramakawa ina radio Fijuan hingatoka.
Radio Fijuan, nandong ibiti.
The HTC U12 Plus is in the market. The new phone replaces buttons with haptic touches and squeeze it.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. Such a rainy Monday to start off with. Well, conditions are not in favor, so please take heed. Do note a heavy rain warning is in force for the Fiji group. Taking a look in the west, it was quite gloomy with rain clouds. Eastwards from Bekaba to Suva, showers and more showers causing flood in low-lying areas. And up north, another cloudy day with light showers and more in store for tonight. At sea, winds gusting up to 30 knots with very rough seas. For the tides, low tide at 12:01 a.m. with high tide at 5:46 a.m. Sunrise at 6:29. For tomorrow, more rainy spells are lined up for us, so all I can say is tag your umbrellas along. Tomorrow's temps, most centers will be in the high 20s. And looking further on to Wednesday, more wet conditions are likely. And that's all from the FBC Weather World. I'm Rita.
Thanks, Angie. In Fijian Pulse tonight, we asked, will you be watching the Highlanders and Chiefs Super Rugby game in Fiji?
Yes, I will go watch the Super Rugby match because some of our Fijian boys are playing.
I'll go and watch the game and support the team of Highlanders.
I support the Highlanders. Highlanders will win this game, so probably most of our boys from the locals are playing around there. That's why I bet for Highlanders.
I would love to go and cheer Chiefs for my team.
I won't be able to go and watch it, but I like both of the teams.
I was thinking to go, but I don't know if I will go there or just relax.
Recapping the main stories, over 2 billion paid in interest, reveals Bainimarama. Freak weather catches people off guard, and 2 dead in Nandi accident. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question segment. Last week, we asked, do you think sex education should not be treated as a taboo subject? 74% said yes. This week, we're asking, will you be watching the Highlanders versus Chiefs Super Rugby match in Suva on June 30th? Visit our FBC website to answer. Now, before we go, our shot of the day comes all the way from England and is from Josh Matavesi. The Fijian boys, Josh Matavesi, Joshua Tuisova and Semi Randrandra celebrating the Barbarians' win against England in the Twickenham change room. Now, you can also send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email, fbcnews@fbc.com.fj, or share it with us via our Facebook page, FBC News. Or you can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. And that was your FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, have a safe and enjoyable week. Bye for now.
मैं नवनीत नंद नम्बुआ से। जैसे प्रेनी नॉर्थ मशहूर है वैसे रेडियो फीजी 2 भी सभी जगह मशहूर है। रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
सीमा नकाशी से मैं रेडियो फीजी 2 पसंद करती हूँ सुनने के लिए। रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
मैं हूँ अंकल किंग सिंगाटोका टाउन के टैक्सी ड्राइवर। जैसे रग्बी फेमस है वैसे रेडियो फीजी 2 फेमस है।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।